Hey, my name is Joe Pellegrino with Legacy Minded Men, and today I want to talk to you about sticky stories, stories that stick. Several years ago, Stanford University did a study, and a particular professor took two of his classes, and he gave the same basic information except one major difference. And that major difference was one class, he fed data. The other class, he fed stories. And the goal was to basically see which one would work better from an educational standpoint long term. About 30 days later, he went back to each class and he asked them, what do you remember about that class? Well, in the class that data was given, only 5% of the students remembered what he taught that day. When he went to the next class with stories, 60% of them remembered what he taught. That's 12 times the memory power. What could that do for you as you're speaking, as you're presenting, as you're writing? When you get something where people can remember 12 times more than using just regular data, you're a winner. And I want to give you 3 R's that you need to understand when you're doing a sticky story. Number one, it's got to be relevant. So whatever topic you're speaking on, the goal is very simple. You want to make it relevant to your audience. You want to make it relevant to your talk, that this story is going to weave into the minds of those you're trying to encourage and teach. You want that story to be relevant. It's speaking on that topic and it's driving home the point. The second thing is it's got to be relatable. So the relatable aspect of things is it's going to reach your audience in a way that they can understand. You want to speak in the proper language, tell the story that is not over their heads, it's not below them, but it's going to hit the mark and it's going to leave a mark. I know that I talk a lot about with a bat in my hand, and I remember an older woman came up to me at a church that I was speaking at, and she said, "Do you still have the bat? Do you still have the bat?" And she remembers that illustration because you see, in our illustrations, in our stories, if we can use some object lessons, it's further stickable. And that is powerful. The third one is it's got to be remindable. Now, I don't even know if that's a word, but we're going to call it a word for now. Remindable means that whenever I hear that topic, I remember that story. When I see that object, I remember that story. You see, when we speak in stories and we're good storytellers, and by the way, there is a difference between telling a story and telling a story well. You want to make sure you can tell the story well, which means practice, practice, practice. Don't be so stoic in your face as you're speaking to people and telling a story. Utilize every muscle in your face and show the power of this story through your excitement level. When you do that, it becomes remindable. It's memorable. People remember it, and they'll remember it when they need to remember it. You see, a sticky story is simply designed to be remembered so that we can take that information and have it relatable to a particular topic, which now makes learning much, much easier. So sticky stories. I want you to think about the power of it. I want you to think about the power of it in your conferences, in your workshops, in your books, on your podcasts, in everything that you do. When we grab somebody at the beginning with a powerful sticky story, it sets the tone for the rest of our talk or the rest of our writing. Stories sell. One of my favorite writers is John Maxwell, and John's books just speak to me. The truth of the matter is, John's books are primarily stories. Stories about himself, stories about others, people that are well known, people that John knows. And it's so encouraging when you're reading these stories because not only are they relevant, they're also relatable. We can understand, we can see ourselves in that picture in our mind of that story. That is power. And when we can pack a punch with a great sticky story, well, let me tell you something. It's going to make all the difference. Hey, I'm Joe Pellegrino. Thanks so much for your time.